What's going on, guys? Jason Frausto for TennisUnleashed.net, and welcome to part one of our 2022 French Open quarterfinal match analysis between Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal. This was by fan request. So if you want to find out how that match was won, stay tuned because it's coming up next. Okay, one of my favorite things to do is jump into numbers before we jump into the points, right? So let's look at the points won by rally length numbers in this match. 1 to 4 shot points in this match were 45% of the points that were played, with Nadal winning 52% of those points. 5 to 8 shot points in this match were 32% of the points played, with Nadal winning 51% of those points. 9 to 12 shot points were 15% of the points played, with Nadal winning 58% of those points. And 13 plus shot points were 8% of the points played, with Nadal and Djokovic splitting those even at 50-50. So if we look at the extended rally lengths, right, that's anything 9 plus shots or more, that's 23% of the points that were played in this match. So we had quite a few extended rallies in this match compared to even the 2021 final they played at the French Open. Let's look at something in particular percentage-wise that Nadal did in this match that was quite a bit different than the 2020 match and the 2021 match they played at the French Open, and that is hit his first serve to the body. So if we look at the numbers, we can see in 2020, Nadal hit just 9% of his first serves at the body in that match against Djokovic at the French Open. In 2021, it was just 6% of his first serves hit at the body. And in 2022, he hit 16% of his first serves at Djokovic's body. But what's the reason? What could that be? Let's jump into some points and let's find out. All right, so in the first point, right, we've got Nadal serving on the near side and Djokovic serving on the far side. Back in 2021, Matteo Berrettini played Djokovic in the final of Wimbledon. In that final, he had 52%, I think it was, of his second serves right at Djokovic's body. I broke that video analysis down last year. Check it out in the link in the description below. So Nadal here, though, not second serves, but first serves, hit a pretty high percentage of them at Djokovic's body. Djokovic tends to guess a lot on serve return where he thinks the serve is going to be aimed left or right. Sometimes he doesn't do it, but a lot of times he cheats. And with Nadal being a lefty and Berrettini a righty, Nadal, especially on the ad side, has a chance to curl that serve right into Djokovic's hips and jam him if Djokovic guesses to his right. So let's see what Djokovic does in this particular point, and let's see if Nadal catches him off guard. As Nadal's ball toss is up in the air, Djokovic is moving right now to his right. You can see him cheating. He does this all the time, right? Not every single point, but pretty often. And Nadal slides this serve right into his right hip. And I'm not laughing because it's funny. It's just, it's amazing Djokovic can react and do well off these balls. It's pretty incredible because anybody else would be absolutely done. So right here, the serve is sliding right into the hips, right? And Djokovic guessed to the wrong direction. So this is going to be really tough and really jammed. And you can see how jammed he is. From this position, it's nearly impossible to get depth and hit the ball deep in zone 3. So I'd be shocked if Novak does that, but let's see what happens here. There it is. Nadal does damage with the serve, right? The goal isn't always to hit aces. A lot of times it's just doing damage with your serve and setting up a short ball, which he does get right here in zone 1. And there's that forehand coming, right? Nadal's forehand is so lethal, he doesn't always need depth like other players may need to truly do damage to you. And here he doesn't need it. And Novak is on the full stretch, and we know he's playing defense, open racket face, lob is clearly coming, and he's got his head not above the hips, as we talked about having your head directly above your hips to have good balance. It's way over by his foot, so we know he's completely off balance here. And on defense, the lob is coming, and that forces the air, and Nadal does damage, right? But it all started with that nice slider right into the hips. And I'll say this, Djokovic did a heck of a job defending these body serves, especially on the first serve, but Nadal did catch him a few times. Let's move on to the second point now. All right, so here we've got Nadal serving this time on the far side, Djokovic returning on the near side. Let's see what happens. There's the body serve. Now, this is a different scenario. We talked about the ad side. If Djokovic guesses to the right and Nadal curls that right into his hips, how he really is going to have a tough time getting anything on the ball. This one's deuce side, right? And it's going to curl this time and curl this direction and curl away from Djokovic. So all Djokovic has to do is move to his right to get out of the way of this one and not be as jammed. So he'll go back. And he does that. He makes this little micro move. Okay. So Djokovic guesses to his left. The serve is to the left, but again, it's more to the body. So all he has to do this time, though, because it's not going to curl into him like this, it's going to curl away, is just make a small move to his right, and he'll be able to maintain balance, and he's brilliant at doing things like that. And this time, right, he counters and finds zone 3 depth. And when you got this kind of depth against a serve return, it's very easy to do damage. He did it right here, and he's got Nadal on his back foot. Anytime you've got a player on their back foot, it usually signals defense. Now, one thing I saw in this match and also the Wimbledon final was that players are starting to get aggressive off their back foot, which is really, really tough. In boxing, you rarely see it, but tennis players, right, these guys are understanding the game is getting more aggressive. They're starting to even get aggressive from defensive positions a lot more than in the past. So let's see what Nadal does with this ball and if he hits defensive or offensive. And this is really a credit to Nadal. The first serve to the body didn't work as well, right? Djokovic does damage to Nadal by hitting deep in zone 3. Nadal's on his back foot, which usually, again, signals defense. And it is a defensive ball, but one thing Rafa's improved a lot compared to the 2021 or 2020 final, he's starting to find better depth from defensive positions. Old Nadal from the past, let's go back a decade, a lot of times he'd hit short and just spinny in zone 1. Player would really get aggressive against him and line it up and drill that ball. He's starting to understand he needs to get depth as well. He can't just rely on his spin to defend. Novak, though, very well balanced. I expect him, even with the zone 3 ball, to get aggressive because it's not pushing him back. If the ball's not pushing you back at this level, the opponent's going to get aggressive. And Novak does that, right? He moves him super aggressive to the opposite corner, really moves him. Nadal head getting close to that foot, right? Over his knee. He's very off balance. Again, the cues here are it's going to be a weak ball. So some of these players at this level, they're so good they can still find depth from these positions, but getting pace and depth from these positions is very difficult. Let's see what Nadal does. Pretty good depth, right? This is probably the back of zone 2, just a little bit shorter than the last ball. But again, Nadal finding depth from tough positions, which is something he didn't always do in the past. Djokovic clocks this one again. Very good balance from Djokovic. And this is one thing that I think helps the European players a lot versus their American counterparts. And I'm not picking on the American guys. I think they're all great. But the rhythm and balance that you have on clay and that you learn growing up is so different than you learn playing on hard courts, right? Love to see the American guys growing up and playing more on dirt to get that innate balance as part of their natural rhythm when they play. There's the big thunderstick forehand, right? Boom. And Nadal, again on defense, gotten so much better from these positions. And let's see if he can get zone 3 depth again. He's done it twice for the most part here. Really deep balls. Finds zone 3 again. And let's see what Djokovic's response is. Bailout drop shot. Novak really shouldn't be playing that drop shot from the depth position that he received that ball in unless it was super, super weak. But again, Novak has hit 3 very aggressive shots, starting with the return, then another shot over here, and then another shot over here, right? And can't get an air out of Nadal. So he bails out, plays the drop shot, and misses that shot. Nadal is applying pressure and defending in positions that he wasn't in the past. His body serve didn't work so well in this situation, but he came up with other ways to win the point. The thing I probably appreciate most about Nadal's game is he is very well-rounded. Everyone thinks of him as a grinder with this big forehand, right, that's developed over the years, and that's all he can really do. The guy has incredible feel, and he has incredible skills with touch and angle, and people don't appreciate that about him enough. If you look at something that I like to call cat and mouse points, when it involves angles and drop shots within points and players playing them against each other, we can see that in this match, Nadal won 59% of the cat and mouse points that were played. Djokovic won 41%. Not only that, but Nadal used the cat and mouse play in certain positions that were very, very poor positions to be in. So let's take a look at some of those points now and see how he used cat and mouse feel to win points he probably should have never won. All right, guys, so here we have the first cat and mouse point. Let's see what we're talking about here and break this down. Nadal serving on the near side, hits the wide serve, and Djokovic does a very good job with this return, right? And this is an example here. Novak actually, we've talked about how he cheats a lot on the return, but on this one, he decides he's just going to split. He's just going to move straight forward this time, which he doesn't do as often as he probably cheats. But look right here, watch Djokovic. He split straight forward this time. So some of that Nadal serving to the body might have gotten him to be a little bit more honest in this match and not cheat left or right, right? The game within the game. So nice wide serve. Djokovic stretching and reaching for this. But again, from these positions, we know Novak's really deadly on the return. So let's see what he does with it. Spanks it cross court and gets Nadal into a defensive position right away. And we know it's defensive because Nadal's racket face is already open, that he's going to hit a slice or some type of touch shot, right? It's already coming open face versus having the racket a little bit more closed off in the preparation. and there's this weird little drop shot, right? Now, why on earth would you do something like this from such a bad position? He's off balance, legs are low, right? He's in a tough position. It's definitely defense. Djokovic has done damage on that return, and he goes to a slice, and it's kind of this slice drop shot that lands short in zone 1. This is a total bailout. What I mean by bailout is if you're hitting a shot like this, you don't like the direction of the point and you're trying to do something really kind of crazy or different to change what's going on. And this is a pretty extreme example, but that's what he's doing. So let's see what Djokovic does. Djokovic is forced to come to the net, right? And Novak's net skills have gotten a lot better the last 5 years. He's put a lot of work in there, and he hits a knifing slice here. And this knifing slice lands deep in zone 3, and Nadal is jammed by the shot. So what I mean by jammed is the contact point's a little bit far back, and it's a little bit late because of the depth of Novak's slice, right? So let's go back for a second. Nadal from this position hits that short drop. Djokovic hits a knifing slice, and Nadal is catching this off of his back foot, semi-open stance, and Novak doesn't know exactly what's coming. And Nadal hooks the forehand down the line for the clean winner into a big target, right? But how did this all start? Nadal took a really bad position. Not that you should ever really do this, but he can get away with it. Off this return that was damaging and put him on defense, hit a bailout short kind of drop shot slice, and turned the point into something that it wasn't originally going to be. It was originally going to be a baseline exchange with Djokovic probably thumping some big shots, right? But he turned it into this cat and mouse point on purpose to mess with Djokovic and to get out of a really bad situation, and it worked out. Let's jump into the next point now. All right, guys, here's the last point. We've got Nadal serving near side, Djokovic returning on the far side. Let's take a look at this. Kind of a body serve again, right? Just catching that middle third of the service box. Djokovic does a very good job here. Zone 3 depth, immediately has Rafa backing up and trying to hit off his back foot. Nadal's balance, though, here looks pretty good. And what I mean by that, how I can tell the balance is good, is if the player is loading their body right here, bending their legs, and the base of their feet is wider. If the base of the feet is wide from this position, there's a good chance they'll be able to be more aggressive. If the base of the feet is really narrow like this, the odds of them being aggressive are much less because the legs don't contribute as much and they have poor balance. So let's see what Nadal does. Nice ball, right? And Nadal does this a lot. Opens up angles off his back foot, which really throws off the other player. But again, opens up an angle. It's not a small target, but look at where he has Djokovic. He's got brother man in the alley over here in a really, really tough position, really difficult, and he's off balance, right? Novak does a great job from these positions. So let's see what Novak does here, how he counters that. There it is, right? So Nadal does a little damage. And what's damage, right? It's anytime you get your opponent off balance, running, or off their back foot. So he does clear damage to Djokovic here. But Djokovic counters with a small target cross court. And small targets are anything that are 2 or less feet from the single sideline. So amazing counter by Djokovic here. And Nadal is immediately going to a slice forehand right here. You can see the super open racket face, right? You can see that cue. We know some type of a defensive shot is coming. What you shouldn't do from this position, usually when a player stretches like this, you should not go for a drop shot. And why should you usually not go for a drop shot from a stretched or reaching position like this? Because the player on the other side, they know the anticipation cues to look for, and they know if you're going to this, that it's probably going to land short, and they should immediately start moving in before you even hit it. So you shouldn't drop from this position usually because your opponent's going to be coming in before you even try it. So let's see what Nadal does. Drops, right? Does exactly what I say don't do. He drops and he hits a big target. This isn't particularly a great drop shot. Djokovic is sprinting in. Djokovic has the slice approach here, right? Open racket face right there. And hits another small target. That's 2 in a row. Right on the line. Nadal again here on the back foot. Look at this, right? He's clearly off his back foot. The balance isn't great. Look at Nadal's head too. I love this. He's holding and looking down at the ball at contact, so Djokovic can't get a read as to where the ball might be going as far as is it going down the line or is it going cross court. He's keeping him in limbo, mystery, by holding that head down at contact, right? Hook, winner. That's crazy. Let's go back for a second here. Off balance, small target from Djokovic, really doesn't get better than that. And the hook winner and the big fist pump. Let's just look at a quick stat before we wrap it up. And that's the total number of drop shot points won and lost. If we look at the drop shot point percentages in this match, Nadal won 75% of the drop shot points that he played in this match against Djokovic. Djokovic has been notorious for playing drop shots at the wrong time. He won just 43% of the points he played as a drop shot in this match. All right, that wraps it up for part 1 of our 2022 French Open Finals match analysis between Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal from the French Open. If you found this video helpful or you feel like you learned something today, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It helps the channel grow. I'm Jason Frausto for TennisUnleashed.net. I'll see you next time.